Welcome to Bridge to India's monthly update on renewable power policies and regulations. I am Aryaman Singh, Research Analyst at Bridge to India, and I will discuss policy developments from the month of April. This month was relatively light, with main issuances focused on tendering trajectory, ALMM, and pump storage projects. As usual, we start with central government policies. MNRE has issued a plan for tendering 50 gigawatt renewable power projects in FY 2024, comprising 40 gigawatt solar and solar hybrid projects and 10 gigawatt wind projects. While the intention behind issuing a bidding trajectory is laudable, our view is that issuing more tenders before fixing underlying problems will only add to uncertainty in the sector. This is the second time the government has issued a bidding trajectory. The first one was issued in 2018 with an 80 gigawatt target over 3 years and was a failure, with many tenders being undersubscribed due to poor design, low ceiling tariffs and/or transmission and land related challenges. These issues need to be addressed by creating a stable policy framework and tightening of competitive bidding process to ensure positive uptake. ALMM approved capacity has reduced to 16.7 gigawatt as a result of approvals expiring for 5 gigawatt capacity across 11 manufacturers. However, 3.8 gigawatt capacity has been granted provisional validity until May 2023. MOP has issued final guidelines for development of pumped storage projects. While direct allocation to PSUs and competitive bidding for private companies will remain the primary methods of project allocation, developers are now allowed to develop off-stream projects independently. A complete waiver of CSS and ED has been offered for input power to prevent double charging. While MOP has allowed PSPs to participate in HP dam market, CERC is yet to adopt this recommendation. India currently has 29.1 gigawatt pipeline PSP capacity. Given the maturity of the technology, its indigenous nature and cost advantage over battery storage, it is expected to be the optimal storage solution for India over the next 5 to 7 years. MOP has proposed tighter measures for subsidy calculation and disbursement, requiring state regulators to publish quarterly updates on tariff subsidy demanded by DISCOMs against actual power sales and status of subsidy disbursement by the state governments. Penal action has been recommended against DISCOMs in case subsidy payments are not made in accordance with the Electricity Act. This is a desirable initiative to improve DISCOM governance, but the DISCOMs have historically been able to inflate agricultural power consumption figures and claim higher subsidies. Given the difficulty involved in accurately estimating actual power consumption by unmetered consumers, we expect the issue to remain murky. Some minor updates. CERC has notified amendments to GNA whereby all provisions related to short-term transactions, sharing of GNA with other entities, and deadline for reaching project financial closure are effective as of 1st April 2023. The reforms are expected to make selling excess power on the exchange easier, as the project developers will no longer require any additional approvals for the same. CERC has allowed power exchanges to launch day-ahead and real-time markets for tertiary reserve ancillary services. Mock testing under NLDC supervision will be conducted in May, followed by a full rollout from June. In anticipation of high demand, CERC has reduced price cap for power sold on exchanges to INR 20 per kilowatt-hour and INR 10 per kilowatt-hour in HP dam and other markets respectively. For transactions on HP dam, base charge for calculation of deviation penalty has been linked to HP dam prices to prevent opportunistic arbitrage by offenders. MOP has appointed CEA as nodal agency for verifying captive status of ISTS projects, but no verification procedure has been proposed yet. Now moving on to state government policies. Uttarakhand has issued a new solar policy with 2.5 gigawatt capacity addition target by 2027. The target consists of 1100 megawatt CNI projects, 600 megawatt utility scale solar projects, 250 megawatt residential rooftop solar projects, and 50 megawatt agricultural solar projects. In a radical measure, the government has proposed renewable consumption target of 30% and 20% for all CNI consumers and residential consumers respectively over a certain size. Several incentives, including subsidies and waiver from certain grid charges, have also been proposed for end consumers. Another deviation from other state policies is that green attributes will now be transferred to consumers availing green tariffs from DISCOM. Annual banking is proposed for captive consumers not availing net metering, with unused power to be compensated at generic tariff. The 2.5 gigawatt target seems overly ambitious given the limited track record of the state so far. Total installed solar capacity in the state was only 389 megawatt as of April 2023. However, some of the provisions of the new policy are highly encouraging and should trigger faster progress going forward. Haryana has issued green open access rules largely in line with central government recommendations, with no minimum capacity threshold for captive consumers. Other consumers must have sanctioned load of over 100 kilowatt. Banking is allowed on a monthly basis with 8% in-kind charge only for single off-taker captive projects with no compensation for unused power. The policy is a positive step forward for Haryana, where the OA market has historically been suppressed. Karnataka has made banking provisions more onerous by hiking banking charge from 5% to 8% and reducing compensation for unused banked power from lower of APPC or 75% of generic tariff to REC grants. This measure follows several other negative developments in the state, including plans to levy grid support charges and introduction of rebates to encourage grid consumption. We believe that the state government is discouraging further growth of OA market in view of the high RE penetration in the state. This concludes our monthly key policy and regulatory updates. We hope you found this update useful. You can view all tender, policy and regulatory information on the renewable power sector in real time at India RE Navigator, a one-stop market intelligence portal for the renewable sector. You can also write to us at contact@bridgetoindia.com if you have a query or feedback. We would love to hear from you. We'll be back next month with another update. Until then, goodbye and take care.